coming and coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, they budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will even compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. A wise man once said that if you show an I don't care attitude to electricity, it may end up destroying lives and properties. Welcome to another episode of Property Doctor, the show that brings to property owners and property users the easiest remedies to beautify your homes, to maintain your homes, to manage your homes, and to help you save money. I know you like that. On this episode, we'll be discussing on how to manage and fix electrical faults at home. Today, I have a professional with me who will be helping us out from his wealth of experience in electrical matters. I have with me in the studio today, engineering craft Oba Clement Ehiegiato. You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, God bless you. Welcome, viewers.
So, we are talking about managing and fixing electrical problem at home or in our buildings, maybe even in the office, something we can do on our own. How do we know that there is an electrical problem in the house?
You know through when blinking of lights.
When the light is blinking?
When light is blinking. Then number two, you hear smell of cables.
Okay, maybe.
Burnt.
Cables
then,
burning.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you hear some sparking noise, maybe either from the distribution box or from the socket point. So you easily know through these three factors.
These are key features
yes,
that you can detect on your own
when you have electrical fault in the house.
Okay, so what causes electrical failure?
Electrical failure normally comes up maybe overload. Most times in this part of the country or the world, we do national altitude by not giving measure to, let me use the word, a compromise. Maybe you have a 500 kVA and you overload.
You're talking about the transformer now?
Yes, transformer,
okay.
Then you overload
the transformer.
At least the maximum capacity is supposed to carry maybe 500 kV and you are not loading a bit more than that. So that one will definitely cause power failure.
But that one is in maybe in an area that you have so many people.
Yeah.
So what you're saying now is that when the load or the capacity of the transformer has been
overloaded,
attained, you should get another transformer.
Yes, to reduce the load on that transformer to avoid power failure. Yes.
Okay, so that means the transformer will trip off.
Yes, from the feeder pillar, from the transformer you have feeder pillar. From the feeder pillar you have uprising there before you distribute to various houses. So when you have such overload, so the problem will come back to feeder pillar, then you find out that the power will go off.
Okay. Now let's come back into the home.
Okay.
So let's know how we can find out that the electrical outlet is having a problem or maybe burning or is not connecting properly.
No, when you have a partial contact.
What is partial contact?
Partial contact is a junction box where all wire is connected. If it's not properly tied, when it has leakage.
There's a leakage.
There, yes, you have electrical problem from that source too.
Okay.
Then number two, if you have a socket unit, maybe 30 amps or 15 amps, and is burning gradually by process and you didn't take note of it on time, can also cause a problem. But it's always good we have this maintenance culture because we always like this national attitude. We don't even care until it happens. But if you have this maintenance culture as a routine check from your appliances, you hardly have this problem.
Okay. So viewers, if you're joining us for the first time, you can watch one of our episodes on maintenance. We have routine maintenance, we have scheduled maintenance, different kinds of maintenances that you can do in your home. I hope you're learning a thing or two from this program this morning. Now let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll discuss how to manage electrical faults in the house. Stay tuned.
Oh, I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will be compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Welcome back. If you're just joining us for the first time, you're watching Property Doctor. But before we go on, Property Doctor has some products that will be very helpful to your home and to you staying healthy at home. We have Property Doctor soap, Property Doctor hand wash, the PD air freshener, the PD paint where you have emulsion and satin paint, and we also have the PD bleach. And you know, we've been discussing managing electrical faults in the house, and we have Engineering Crafts Oba in the studio with us. But before the break, our guest has successfully told us how to identify electrical faults, the causes, and also how to know if the electric outlet is burning. I still have more questions for you, sir. So how can we prevent electrical faults in our homes or in our buildings?
You prevent electrical shock in the building by having to do frequent maintenance in your building. You maybe once in a month you have what you call work schedule in the house. You call your technician, they move from one junction box to another junction box.
That's like a
box.
scheduled maintenance.
Yes, scheduled maintenance. Because most likely people don't do that at all until the thing broke down totally before they know they should check their electrical point and all that.
Are you saying they should do it on a monthly basis? Is it not so?
No, it depends. No, it's not much.
Okay.
As long as, you know, in this part of the country, you maybe in 2 days you have light for 1 day. But where you have a constant light, even 1 month to check, routine check. Those days when I work in my organization, we have a program check for this at 1 day. In every week, there is somebody on duty that should take care of one particular. But in this part of the country, maybe in our homes, we hardly
check,
such, you know,
yes.
Except some estate management that have a maintenance unit then that have that, even they don't even do it correctly. It is always advisable
to get
do that, yes, so that you won't have.
Do you need a professional to do that for, or you can just check by yourself?
No, you need a professional. But in UK and some other countries, that's what they call you do it yourself. There is a novel that will guide you to do some
like a manual.
Yes, manual.
Okay.
But here you hardly see such.
Okay.
So that is why in those countries, to get a technician is just difficult. But here, you must have an expert to do that for you.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about cables that we use in our electrical connection?
We have 1.5 for lighting points.
Okay.
We have 2.5 for sockets. Then sockets has about 4 points in categories. That is, we have a 30 amp socket for electronics. Then you have 15 amp socket water heater above 50 amps. Then you now use 4 mm from AC.
For AC?
Yes.
Okay.
Then you use 6 mm for electric unit. Electric cooker. That is the maximum you can use. But people compromise where you're supposed to use 4 mm, they use 2.5. But most people use 2.5 to run AC, which is very wrong.
But some people even use 4 mm for a socket. Sometimes they say maybe the load on it might be heavy, more than what the socket can carry.
Nothing is wrong with that. So if you use 4 mm for even 13 amp socket, no problem. It's like you are giving me less load.
Okay.
But a situation whereby you need 4 mm, you are not using 2.5. It can melt.
So that's when you now feel the cable
burning hot. Yes, from there begin to have that, then it can cause a fire outbreak.
Okay, so even the temperature of the cables can guide us to let us know that there is a problem on that connection. So what about if you're looking at the heater? You know, there are different sockets that we use. We use the cooker socket, and we also have another switch that has a red button on it like that.
That's water heater switch.
Yes.
You have,
Can you use that for the kitchen socket also?
Yes.
That's for the cooker.
Yes.
That if you
we
don't
have a cooker unit.
If you don't want to use the cooker,
unit, you can use that
the other
water heater for it, because it's had in and out, input and output. The output of it, because you don't have a plug on it.
Okay.
You only have internally.
All right.
Only the button switch that is visible.
Okay.
Then you have the load in, then the load out. So when you on, it's supplied to the cooker. The same thing you use for AC, you can still use it as for water heater too.
Okay. So how can we solve electrical faults in our homes?
You solve electrical fault when...
Like if we want to do it on our own before the professional comes?
No, if you have an emergency, like those that have a sensitivity and can smell, what you do, you just go to your distribution box.
Okay.
DB, the properly called DB, then you turn off.
Okay.
That is the best thing you can do if
First.
you are not an expert.
Yeah.
Then you now call your technician to come. Then you explain and say, this is what happened. I've turned up my changeover or distribution box. So he will start from that very point and trace
Where the
where
problem,
the problem is.
Okay, because sometimes you find that a portion of the house is not having power, another portion has power supply. What can you do in that particular
Yes, in that
situation?
aspect, for those of us that use three-phase, red, yellow, blue, then you have a distribution box that also have three-phase unit. Then 3 socket to 1 unit, 3 socket to 1 unit, depend on the load in the house.
Okay.
So when you have one phase failure, it will definitely, that
phase
portion will not have light.
Okay, so what can you do during that time?
So when the technician is available now, it can loop until he solve that problem.
Okay,
It will not loop. That is why
this
most
one is
times...
a technical word now.
Yes, a technical word. That's most times you find that in a home, from even the feeder pillar from transformer, you might not even get the 3-phase completely.
Okay.
So that is why you see 3 cut out. In that 3 cut out, it's only 1 fuse that will be there.
Okay.
What did they do? They loop the phase to each other. But you cannot put the 3 fuse at a time because they are using a phase at a time.
Okay.
So when one phase go, they remove and put the other one.
Viewers, you cannot try this thing that is talking about at home. You need a professional to do this particular thing you're
that's
talking
true,
about.
that's true.
Now, if we look at construction generally, maybe somebody is trying to build a house and is talking about conduit piping or surface wiring. What will you advise people, viewers that are trying to build, what will you advise them to do? What style do you think is preferable?
Even now, we should not be even mention surface wiring at this time because the world is going digital now.
Is electricity going digital too?
No, you have to, we must grow.
Okay.
Change is inevitable. Where you will be using surface wiring, this time now it should be conduit. No, those days we use galvanized iron to run conduit.
Yeah.
But now we are now using
plastic,
PVC, which is plastic. You see, there is changes as we go.
Yeah.
So me, I will always advise that you use full conduit.
Okay, safer.
It's safer than surface.
But there's something else again when we were talking earlier on that we should not join wires within the cable, within the piping. Yeah.
And that is where you see some quack technicians compromise.
Does it cause problem when you join the wire inside the...
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. It is always advisable you join a pipe from a box to a box.
Okay, from
so that
one
you can
box
access
to
it
the other
another
box.
Not in between the pipe. So that is why in the conduit piping, there you have Y box, thick box, U box. Okay. You have a cover plate for it. That is the only place you are advised to join cable if there is a need.
Okay, so that it can even help in maintenance.
Yes, maintenance.
And if there's a problem, you can
just lose and detect it.
Check
but when you now join in between box, pipe, you cannot access it. And when it has that problem, it will mend the pipe from there, you get a fire outbreak. It is not always advised to join. And most times you see some back technician, instead of use installation tape, they use this nylon bag or what they call cellophane to tie, which is very, very bad.
Okay, one last question before we go. Sometimes you see in Nigeria here, you don't see it in the low density area, but most of the time in the high density area where you have a lot of houses or a lot of people stay in a particular compound, you see them spreading their clothes on electrical wire. What do you advise?
That's dangerous. It's not advisable at all.
Okay, what about people, illegal people climbing the pole, the electricity pole? What can you say about that?
They are taking risk. It is not advisable for you to, even ordinarily, before you even climb a pole safe, you're supposed to go to a feeder pillar, turn it off before you climb. In a case whereby there is current in the pole you want to climb, you must use protective device, which is hand glove, so that it would help you from electric shock.
Okay. Thank you very much for educating us today. I really appreciate the knowledge you shared with us today, and I've learned something. And viewers, please do not tamper with your electric meters, your meters supplying power to your home. If you want to use electricity and you know that you're going to use electricity very well, please make sure that you pay for the power you are using. Now, thank you for joining us, our viewers, on this episode. I hope you have learned a thing or two. Remember, if knowledge is not put into practice, it does not benefit anyone. Join us next week as I'll be having a practical episode, and we'll be talking to you about the Builders Week, and we can also have episodes where we will teach you how to do some of those things that you really need at home so that you don't spend so much money. So I'll be taking you through some products we have lined up for the year. You can follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at PropertyDoctorNG and on Twitter at PropertyDocNG. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please kindly do so on the link below or the link that accompanies this video, and you can turn on your notification button so that you can get alert of our videos immediately they come up. Also, we hope to see you same time next week. Bye.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs.